Hi. Hi, Natalie. Thank you for your time. It was nice to see you.
Thank you, Dao. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know it's been, if I recall, my first encounter to the community, the woman heart to heart community, since June 2020. I guess it's already been half a year, yeah, more than half a year. I know
Yeah,
you and know the community. So at this particular time, I want to get to know you more. So I'm asking you for your time so I can maybe ask you about a little this, a little that, and how about we share this to others? Yeah, especially women in my country, in Indonesia, Jakarta. So
happy to do that.
yeah,
Mhm.
we just relax of each other. It may actually I'm nervous too, but I'm trying uh, to get my feet on the ground again because this is my first
Yeah,
time.
let's make it organic. Just yeah.
Okay, Natalia, I want to know about this woman heart to heart community. This is it kept coming into my head. What makes you decide to build, or yeah, it's what is it? What is it that makes you build this community? When was it that you decide? Okay, I want to do this. What happened actually
Mm.
back then?
Actually, I think it's mm, it is not one moment. There was this one moment in which I knew it that I'm doing it, and this is something very important for me. And I know I'm gonna do this until the end of my life. I don't know what shape and form it will take because things can change over time, but I know that this will remain part of my life. So there was this moment I knew I have to do it and I want to do it, and it's a big part of my life. But before that moment, there were a lot of different things that happened. I would say for more than 10 years, probably for the last 15 years, which brought me to this moment. So it's a lot of different factors. And it goes back to the time when I was so basically my career is roughly put it's 20 years in corporate, and that included both starting from startups, scaling up, and then becoming part of big corporate. And I had an international career as a manager and leader. I lived in several different countries, and I was working for a big North American corporation at the end. Uh, while I was in that part of my career, so that was around 20 years, and then around 10 years, I decided to go on my own and be more like a management consultant, coach, trainer, facilitator, things like that. Uh, while I was still in corporate, I had a lot of cases when I was basically unaware of the problem of women in the workplace. I always thought, well, if a woman is a professional, I mean, she can grow, and if she works hard, she can grow and be anything she wants. That's how I was thinking. And I was thinking that even though I was in a company where practically there were no women. So I was a country director, and there were no other country directors, if I recall, women anywhere in the world. It was just men, or dominant men. Women, 90% of the women were more into I don't know, in top positions, when marketing, HR, things like that, but not in the core business. In the core business, in the most important services of the company, like the most lucrative services of the company, was only men. Maybe a few women here and there, but more the exclusion rather than the rule. And even though I would find myself on international conferences surrounded by men, I still didn't think there's a big problem. I just thought, okay, maybe women are not attracted to this profession. Maybe it's more difficult for women because of the certain aspects of the job. So I didn't think there's a problem. And then one time I was also often invited, so this is quite a few years ago. I was invited to, I don't know, maybe organize the women in our part of the company, maybe do something with them. And I always said, I don't see the point in that. I really didn't see the point in that at that time. So I understood the importance of us connecting to each other, but I thought it's men and women. There's no point just women.
Mhm.
And then once I experimented, we were on a management retreat. So our region was several different countries. All the managers were gathered in one place, and we had all these annual meetings and discussing different topics. And out in that experience, we managed to carve some time to connect also with just women, and I couldn't believe it. It was basically in between dinner and a long day of meetings, but women stayed, and so basically they took from there. I mean, the only possibility to relax a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, and the topics were coming one after the other, one after the other. So how do you do that? How? And I stood there and I couldn't believe my eyes. There was so much. I could feel the need women had to talk to each other. A little later, after this case, it just happened that I decided to continue in a different way my career, and I left corporate. And as I was leaving, I received so many letters from women who were telling me how I have paved the way for them, how I have uh,
Open.
made them believe that it's possible for them to grow into this profession. And it only then it just hit me. It basically went into my face. How important is to have role models? How important is to talk to each other? I just started realizing then how much we need each other.
Mm.
And as this happened, then in the next, let's say, couple of years, I organized some events for women. They were called leadership labs, women's leadership labs. And they were again amazing. I mean, people were really, I had similar cases with a few women from my surroundings were telling me, why are you doing that? What's the point of us women connecting to each other? I mean, they were doing what I was doing in the past. But since they were friends of mine or acquaintances, they joined, they came. And one of them, I'll never forget her. She was crying after the event, crying from happiness, not from sadness.
Mhm.
She said, because we did these exercises where people were talking in groups of three, and she said, I talked this, it was the first time I met these women, and I talked about things with them I've never dared to talk with anyone about. I mean, she just opened up to talk about things she had nobody in her life to talk with. So more and more I understood the role we played in each other's life and how much we need each other. I mean, it was coming bigger and bigger to me. Also, in that time, I did a lot of leadership trainings. And what I found, so some of them were men and women, others were, there were a few cases of I did training just for women. And I was asking them the question, tell me, give me the names of some leaders you're looking up to, some leaders you really respect. And people kept coming with Mahatma Gandhi, with I don't know, Steve Jobs, with, I mean, always big names of people who are, they've done a lot, but there were two things that were important, common in any group. And I did this in very different groups. And two things always kept coming. It was only men
Mhm.
that were given as names, and it was always people very distant from us,
Mhm.
very far away. And for me, leadership is something that everyone does every day. I mean, it's a daily mindset experience, and I realized that we're not women don't have enough women leaders that they role models that they recognize, and b somehow we keep looking too far. We need to look around us. Um, the last thing, two more things. There is a reason why we ended up being a global community, and that has again to do with my own experience. First of all, I feel we live in a global world, and we we might we might live in a small village somewhere in the world and never leave that village. Maybe we didn't travel anywhere. We're still part of a global world because the products we use are produced somewhere else. The products we work on are sold across the world. So it's even if we don't travel, we still live in a global world. And uh, in my personal life, this exposure. So I lived in. I'm living now. This is my fourth, one, two, three, four, fifth country I lived in, including my
Wow.
own. And every time I know that this exposure to otherness, to something different from my own tribe, has opened my perspective. It opened my lives. And I know not everybody is as crazy as me to want to live in many different countries. Uh, so I feel by having a global community, we can bring the world to anyone, anywhere. So this exposure can happen without traveling. So that was another aspect of what I wanted to develop. And the last here is why it happened at the end to be a community. Um, I wasn't satisfied with this one day events which I did, or trainings. There was so much wealth of support, ideas, knowledge on these meetings, but they were just one day. And depending on what, I mean, maximum one day is what I've done. Depending on what is happening in the life of the participant, he could catch one or two things. He can't catch the whole wisdom of everything that's being said. It's just too much. So that's where I felt that we need this support in our life, which is always available for us. It's a place where we can go anytime we need support or we want to ask a question. So it's kind of open 24/7, 36, 5 days in the year, rather than being a retreat we go to or a training we go to. Those are important as well. Uh, but I just wanted this to open possibility to women, first of all, to connect to each other, to be able to support each other, um, uh, to be always open, always there in our lives. And you know, in the community, some people are very active right now, some people are not so active, but from time to time somebody from the not active boom appears and becomes active, because things are happening in our life. We cannot expect that we're constantly on certain subjects. I mean, and that's what I loved about a community like this, that it's kind of always open. And really the last one, I'm sorry for the long answer, but it's a lot of things that came together in terms of what I'm doing. There was also there's also the question, why another women's community? I mean, there's so many women's community already, right? We're not the first one. Uh, there were two things. First, a lot of these communities, uh, I feel, are about networking, but networking. So we are also about networking, uh, but not superficial networking. We're really about connecting to each other, heart to heart. So it's in a more authentic, real way, as opposed to just, uh, the traditional networking I've been part of is you go to some event, everybody's kind of trying to show off, be in their best dresses, and exchange business cards, right? And for me, this has always been a little bit superficial. Um, so I wanted to to create a space where, first of all, we can show up without makeup and without, if we wanted to. So we've had people sometimes join 3 a.m. in the morning, they can't sleep and they join in a pajamas, and that's okay. I mean, nobody is judging anybody. um, so I wanted to create a place where we meet authentically. We really are who we are. We don't need to put roles. We don't need to put um, masks, and I don't mean real masks, but the mm, like trying to pretend somebody we're not.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and I'm happy. I think we created that. I think everybody is saying it's a really place where people are authentic and they really connect heart to heart. So this was a really long answer, but I hope I covered all aspects of it.
Yes, yeah, exact. Yeah, you do really cover all of my questions. In fact, I felt that I'm in that I'm in that story, watching you telling me that from the day of your corporation life, and the one thing that uh, you are getting letters from all women, and it's about how you want to be that role model, yeah, yeah, role model of the leaders. And I totally resonate with you when you say that, yeah, in the community you can see the active one, not the not active, but in some other time they will be active. Just like me, I totally resonate with that. And about the last one, I totally resonate with that, and I in fact told my husband about this community. You know what I like about this community? I can see uh, women from everywhere, whether it's, yeah, just like you said, 3 a.m. Yeah, they are wearing their
Hmm.
yeah usual shirt and
Oh,
without
relax. Yeah.
makeup and be themselves. Yeah, that's why I tell my husband this community is a safe place for me, because yeah, I don't have to pretend that I'm good in English. I don't have, because I talk like this. I talk like this to everyone in the community, and I even don't wear makeup actually, but because today I'm having this interview, so
Sure,
that
sure.
yeah, yeah, I totally resonate with all of you said about the history of the this community. And I just want to, I know that you might be want to be that role model person, but to me it's, you don't have to go this road. You can you can just stay at your top position, and yeah, just yeah, deal with your managerial level. Why it have to be you, and why the woman sending letters to you? What were they thinking? What happened?
Um, it was because there was no other woman before that was in such a role. So they somehow saw it possible that there's an opportunity for them to grow. And actually, in the years that followed in this part of the world where I was working, there's now many more women in leadership roles. So it just paved the way. It just showed that it's possible. That's how I feel about it. Yeah,
Um,
it just
it's like a calling,
um,
a calling.
sorry.
It's like a calling. It's just calls you to be. Yeah, you can be that person. Something like that.
No, it was more, I was just being myself. I didn't do anything special. But the fact that there was a woman before them in a senior leadership position made it possible for them to dream to be in a senior leadership position. Otherwise, they would have thought it's not possible.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because I do have.
there's one other aspect, just one thing more to add. Uh, is after I left corporate, so 2, 3 years afterwards, I did a lot of work with myself in terms of, for example, I got fascinated with the concept of authentic leadership, and I was, in general, authenticity in leadership, and I, as I was doing this work, I realized for myself that back in the years when I was a young manager, I everybody I could learn from. It's just the company I was in. All the managers that had me were male. So there were no women managers.
Mhm.
So that means I would have, I mean, I learned a lot of great things from them, and I'm grateful for that. But I also was mimicking male way of doing things. So the reality is by women mimicking male way of leadership, they're not being authentic. They're not being fully themselves, and they cannot be fully happy. And I relate to that. I was doing exactly that, and I think a lot of women do that. As a result, they connect more to their male energy, and they are afraid to use their female energy. And actually, our power is in the balance of those. Our power is in being truly connected to our feminine energy. So that's the other thing. When you know women in your life from which you can learn, so uh, they don't have to be, I don't know, smarter than you or more important than you, but they're just a few steps ahead of you, in their careers, in their, maybe they just older, or they've been through experiences you haven't been. So when you have such women in your life, you can learn from their mistakes. Basically, you can learn what not to do. And when women were entering the workplace, the whole workplace was organized according to the way males function, the way they think, the way they plan, the way they communicate. So when women joined the workplace, they wanted to be integrated. And the way they understood that is to mimic, to copy the male way of doing things. And the end result of that is we're not fully happy. We're not fully authentic in the workplace. So the more we have women we can learn from, the more women who are connected, who have learned to balance their feminine and male energy. Uh, so I believe this can help younger women to also not make the mistakes I did, for example. And I would have been happier if I also had women in my life to learn from.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, it was so genuine of you. Yeah, the act of all of this, Natalia. Yeah, I often say you. I guess I don't know. I think I told you more than once about that. I'm so grateful that I met you, Natalia. I'm so grateful that I found this community. So it's been really
Thank you.
inspiring for me to say to hear all of that background stories from you. So to be exact, when is the exact date of the Woman Heart to Heart community?
We opened on 20th of January 2020.
20 of January 2020. Wow,
Yeah.
congratulations. Yeah, just 1 year old. Yeah, you just passed the
Yeah, 1 year, 1 month. Yeah, yeah. Not even 1 month. It's less
yeah.
than, yeah, it's 1 year. Yeah.
What
And I feel we're exactly 1 year old. I think we're out of the baby stages and we're starting to,
walk.
we're learning to walk now.
Yeah, yeah, I can felt that too. I can felt that too. Strange. And what with the name? Why is it Woman Heart to Heart? Woman Heart to Heart? Is there a specific philosophy or specific message that you want to convey to the women?
The name was very interesting. I went through this experience of designing the logo and the name, and honestly, uh, I think I was connected to something bigger than me, because at some point I can't remember. I remember doing that, but at some point it just clicked for me, and it just came, and I knew this is the name. And it's difficult for me to say what was the process there, because it just I was several days thinking about it, but then it just came. Uh, and there is a deep meaning there. So for me, heart to heart, um, it means connecting to each other for real, authentically.
Mm.
Uh, it's not just about connecting our minds, but really connecting our hearts. And heart to heart is an expression in English which also means being able to tell each other the tough truths, not just the nice stuff, but being able to tell each other the real things. And uh, so there's a lot of meanings into that, but it ends up being about authenticity, about true connection, like very true connection. It's about it has to do also with our total vision, because we want to see a world where we're happy at work, and workplaces are a place where we really are happy to be, we contribute, we weren't developed. And um, there's a lot of, I mean, not everybody is happy at work right now. A lot of people are just doing it because they have to do it. Um, and one of the reasons in the workplaces is for too long, we have had a very practical approach, very mechanistic, practical, and we don't invite the whole being, the whole person. Somehow people go to work and play a role, certain role, they get into a role, they know this is how you behave at work, but it's not who they truly are. And I believe that when we go to work not being true to who we really are, we're disconnected from us, from our feelings and from our spirituality. And the result is both we are not happy, and also um, I actually believe when everybody goes to work and is not truly themselves, we collectively are able to produce, for example, products that are not good for consumers. We're collectively somehow disconnected. So if you imagine a small company of two people producing something, they're producing it with a lot of love. Like imagine a company 100 years ago, just doing something with their hands and uh, selling it to their people in the same village. They would do it with their whole heart, and they're not gonna be want to harm anybody. But when we go to these big companies and there's hundreds of thousands of people working, and we go disconnected from our spiritual being and from our heart, we collectively then are able to produce wrong products, to produce bad food. I mean, because we feel disconnected from the end product. And so to me, the whole heart thing is also a symbol of being connected to our feelings, to our emotions, to our passions, uh, doing things with love. And the heart for me is also a symbol of being connected to our spirituality. So I believe in a better world. And we are doing this in Women Heart to Heart. I think we are creating inside a better world because we are connecting heart to heart. So I believe this could be, I mean, this is the idealistic part, but I think the whole world can be a better place if we connect heart to heart and not just mind to mind.
Yes, yeah, it's so beautiful, and the way that you told about the behind story of the name, it is. I guess I think I can imagine. I can imagine. What I mean is, I just found out that this is the perfect name, the perfect name. The way that you tell about the story, why the community and the name, it is so perfect. It's like meant to be. It's like meant to be.
It
And
was exactly meant to be. That's how
yeah,
I feel. It just
uh,
clicked at some point. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That's the word. It is meant to be, and to hear you about that, I really want everyone in this world hear about what you say about how we can be better person in what we do, and we give the best result if we are connected to our heart. Oh, I really want everybody hear about that. Yeah, I hope the
Yeah.
message is.
Cheers to that. I hope we I think it's actually contagious. I think if you really experience it, I mean, everybody is experiencing it, but we somehow leave that for our personal life, for our personal relations. And many of us think that this is not for work. And I think I've experienced it also at work. It hasn't always been. I actually am lucky. I have years of my life in which that's how I felt at work. So it's possible. I know it's possible. I know it's not a dream. And I know it's contagious. Once you try it, you don't want it any other way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. Also, it's contagious. Yeah, the thing that we do, it's contagious to others, and I hope, yeah,
Mm.
the idealistic. Yeah, I didn't say that idealistic. Yeah, it's our hope. Yeah, I guess it's okay. Like we have a
It's
dream.
our home. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Cheers to that, like you said. Okay. When the community is officially open to public on the 20th of January 2020, how many members that you have back then, and how many members now?
20th of January, there was zero. I mean, I was just opening it. um, so basically, they started coming gradually. Now we're around 1,800 and something. Yeah.
Wow, 1,000! Wow, so many members, and it's coming from all around the world.
Yes. So we have people from approximately 700 cities of the world,
Wow.
which is amazing. I mean, they really spread, and this is on all continents, and it's approximately 80 countries plus minus. I forgot the exact number, but and what I like is the spread of cities, because it means that on the average we have something like 2.5 people in a city. So I like that because in general in the big cities of the world, there's more opportunities to find a club, join a group of women. But I like that we're reaching out to smaller cities, not just the big metropolis, but this is a lot of cities, really.
Yeah.
I'm happy that we're so spread in the whole world.
How do you communicate back then on the 2020 and growing up to 100 1,000? How do you communicate at first? Where do the members come from? Did you put advertising, or how do they know about the community?
So I didn't advertise. I was just organically inviting people. So basically reaching out to people that I mean, sometimes randomly I would see a post of somebody, I would see that they like something. So I just started collecting basically people, random people that it's they seem to be interested in something similar. So, or maybe they like some post. I mean, I could see something they've done online which indicates that they might be interested. So I just started inviting people, and I on purpose didn't reach out at first to like my friends and people I know, because I felt I wanted to make a truly global community. And I felt if I just reach to my own friends, I mean, they come from a few places, they're not from across the whole world, the close people to me. That's why on purpose, I just went for strangers. I just started inviting strangers, and the principle was, uh, I mean, everybody, when they start something like this, they're scared. Is anybody gonna come? I mean, it's human only to think, is anybody gonna come? And I was, uh, actually, I was told from people with previous experience that the most important is you need to be sure that you're passionately connected to your own purpose. So in other words, what you do is you mean it, and it's very important to you, and you believe in it. And they were saying, if you really believe in it, you shouldn't have fears. I mean, people will other people will find you who share your dream, and they're gonna join. And this is what's been happening. Like people, um, people just recognize the journey, and if it connects to them, they connect. And I'm not saying this, the big group of people, the 1,800 and something people, they're not all deeply connected. Some of them are more on the periphery, and they're interested, but they're interested in, I feel as we start working on specific projects, more people will come and join. So they're more on the periphery, waiting to see what will happen. And then there is this inner group of people who really join me on the journey. So there are these circles of people, and there, how should I say? The deeper you go, the more connected they are to the purpose. And that's the advice I can give to anybody. Just make sure you are, whatever you want to do, it's really important for you. You really get down to what you want to do, and then other people are going to recognize it, because when they will recognize in this passion that you have, they will recognize something they want to, that's something that's important for them. And yeah, so basically that's how it happened. And I really feel fortunate, because the most common question I have heard in the last 1 year has been, how can I be involved? How can I help? I mean, this is the question I get. And
Yeah.
I mean, what more can one want? I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually, I feel blessed in that sense.
Yeah, yeah. Bless you, Natalia. And to say about that, the one that you when you say that people will recognize you and somehow they join your journey, I felt that too. If people ask me when was the first encounter of you with the woman heart to heart, I will directly remember it was on June 2020.
Hmm.
It was the 24-hour, yeah, the 24-hour
Live event.
session,
Hmm.
global woman heart to heart. I think at that time, wow, it was so amazing how these all women from all around the world, they just gathered here and share inspiration to strangers. I don't even know you back then. I thought, if I'm correctly remember, I follow one of the member, Farah. I follow the information on the Instagram, I guess. So I don't know, somehow I just met you. Yeah, I just met you, and just like you said, I recognize the purpose of this community, so I joined. And just like what you said, at this time, I'm admitting that I before this, I'm not an active member. So somehow it's just gradually, just like you said, I often ask you, Natalia, what can I do? How can I contribute?
Mm.
Yeah, that's the proof of, people will recognize you, and somehow people will join you, join the journey.
Yeah, and if you're real, if you're for real, if you are authentic and real, people recognize that. People recognize that. And if it connects to their journey, to them, you also should not be disappointed, because I also invited people who didn't join, right? So we, in general, we are, um, somebody can get, and I've done that in the past, you can get disappointed. You can say, oh, you see, people are not coming. And you shouldn't be disappointed if somebody is not joining, because they're not the right person. For
Yeah,
them, for some reason, this is not important, and it has nothing to do, this is not a qualification of what you do. It doesn't mean that what you do is wrong. It just means that it's not for them right now. And you need to be you need to be happy they're not joining, because if they join and they're not aligned, what's the point? I mean, it's
yes,
not going to work anyway. Yeah. Uh, and I hear you also in terms of the 24 Live event, which is the biggest event we've done so far. So basically, 24 hours we kept Zoom open and people were joining across the globe. Uh,
that was
it was
amazing.
amazing. There were people totally, we didn't know everybody who was on the call, but women were so authentic in their stories. I mean, they were so genuine and kind of opening up and talking about real things. And for me, this is amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
this is part of this. Um, it's part of the design of the community. I wanted to, and it's the name itself, Heart to Heart, makes people show up for real. I mean, it's somehow you cannot show up in a community called Women Heart to Heart and be artificial. It just doesn't work somehow.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. I totally remember how it felt because I'm not joining the 24-hour because of course, I get to sleep. But to see that I don't even know them, but they just share everything about
Mm.
what they have and in the purpose of inspiring each other. How amazing. That's why I totally can remember when I joined this community because that experience is totally amazing. Wow. And
Yeah, and I'm very grateful for all your contribution. I mean, you've been very active lately, and I'm really grateful because um, I mean, we're doing it for members, right? We're doing it for each other. So
yes,
it
yes,
takes two to tango, as they say.
yes,
So women need to take also the step of saying, okay, I'm benefiting from this. I can give a lot, I can take a lot, but this is meaningful for me. And um, we need to make the step of being active. What I've noticed in the community is some women have never been part of events, and they never really connected to anybody. So people who have come to events, uh, they start establishing this deeper relationship, and but it takes a step from members, right? I mean,
yeah. That's
you
the art
need
of
to get
community.
involved.
The art
Mhm.
of community. It's from the community to the community.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly, yeah. Uh, it doesn't happen. I think many of us have, I'm talking society at large. There's a lot of, with social media, with Google searches, with articles being written, blogs, we are in a mode of consuming. So we go to a place like social media, for example. People are writing things, we consume it. So we read what we like, maybe we like it, maybe we don't even want to like it, and then we go. So there's this um, um, one way of how should I say? We don't always. Many of us don't invest in actually, for example, we read a post and an article
Mm-hmm.
that really impacts us and it's really meaningful. We don't always take the time to tell the author, thank you for writing this. This was meaningful for me. This actually made my day. And wow, I didn't think about. We don't take the time to do the our part of the story. And for community, this is essential. It cannot be one-sided,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
It takes both parties to engage, and
Yes.
only then it's meaningful.
Yeah, it
Mm,
takes two to tango. I think that's the sentence. Yeah, it takes two to tango.
mm.
And so how do you think right now with your members 1,800 and they are coming from around the world? How do you say that your interaction with the members right now?
Uh, I mean, again, it's different. There's this circle, so there's a quote deep circle that is really focused on helping me build the organization of Women Heart to Heart, because we're looking at this as really a sustainable, purposeful, deep purpose business organization with a deep purpose. And we are hoping to create a lot of impact in the world, social impact in the world, and especially in the lives of women. So for this to happen, we need to develop a sustainable organization that can actually work on all these things. So there's an inner circle of people that are working with me. Then there's another circle of members that are really deeply connecting, and they're starting to contribute. So we call them the contributors. So we have partners, contributors, active members, and it's step by step. So
Oh,
to reach the most, some which are not active at the moment. So um, for me, the next steps are really we're working on um, kind of the building of the organization, the foundations on which all this can happen. And the second thing, which is very exciting, is we have a lot of different events we have launched,
mhm.
and some of them are focused on supporting each other grow and deal with challenges. But there are others that are focused on our impact in the world. So we actually with the Idea Lab, so we have the Heart to Heart Idea Lab. We are creating now. There were 3 sessions, and there's one more this month where we are brainstorming ideas. How can we collectively create bigger impact in the world? How can we help each other scale our own impact? So the idea is uh, there's only so many things we can do alone, and there are only so many things we can do with our local support and local community. There are projects that require more collective intelligence, so a bigger group of people, and they require more global approach. So these are the projects that we want to be doing together. And right now we are in the brainstorming stage, but in March we are going to um, see which are the core projects that are coming through, and that there's so basically we're going to see who is passionate for which projects, and we're going to start working on some projects as subgroups, so members will be able to participate in projects. That's where it gets exciting, because some of these projects um, focused on each other. So what can we do in the community better with each other to grow, develop? But many of them, a big part of them is focused on the world outside. So I can already give away, for example, my favorite idea, because I mean, there's a lot of ideas. I don't know at this stage which are going to come to life. It depends on where people's passions are, and we need also to prioritize them. But one idea that I feel there's a strong desire for was to to do something for the invisible women, for the invisible heroes, because there's so many awards given, and there's so many women celebrities and awards given to like famous women, but there is not enough done for the invisible women, which maybe don't have these big titles, maybe they don't have this shiny lives, but every day they are living their lives according to the values we believe in. So we want to create awards and also tell the stories of these more invisible women. And I'm really excited about that because I think many women are going to recognize in these women their role models much more when, I don't know, in some shiny woman on a big position, you know what I mean, like this kind of one of a kind cases.
Yeah.
So we want to bring more light to the everyday heroes, the everyday amazing women, which are juggling work and family and life, and but they're really being connected to they're living purposeful life, and they're basically living according to all these values we believe in.
Yeah.
So I'm really
Invisible,
excited about that project.
invisible hero. Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
the everyday hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait for the updates for that, and I hope I can participate in one of that events in the future.
Please,
Okay.
please, you're welcome. So this is the um, we know we have 6, 7, 8 formats right now of events in the community, and all of them at the end. So I call it at the end. Everything is about supporting each other, grow and develop, uh, becoming more aware of the reality of what's happening. So not be on the not talk superficially about the challenges we face in life, but go deeper into understanding why are these things happening, supporting each other to be the change we want to see. Because I've seen many women communities which are focused on, they have this attitude of being the victim and pointing fingers at other people, like basically men should do that or government should do that. And our feeling is more, how can we show up differently in the world? What can we do differently
Yeah.
so that we deal with this issue? So this is the first area of we supporting each other and building a better awareness of the reality so that we can change things for us and others. And then the second part is really um, us as a collective group with collective intelligence. What can we do different in the world? So one is inner focus, the other is outer focus. And I think 2021 is going to be exciting in this way because it's going to become more clear what differentiates us from other communities,
Mhm.
how we are different. And our end dream is to be an ecosystem of a lot of projects. So we want to support women in being part of a lot of different projects. And basically, we see the whole thing as an entrepreneurial ecosystem of a lot of different things happening in different places of the world. And we are just the incubator, accelerator, and supporter of all this.
Yeah, I really like when you say that we don't want to be uh, that group of
The
people who
victim.
point others, because in
Mm,
this community we always start from within ourselves. Yeah, is that right? So
yes, yes,
we are starting,
absolutely.
and by the way of building the ecosystem or the incubator, just like you said. Yeah, that's really, I sometimes don't enough words to describe the to describe the community, because it's all in there. It's all in there. All the goods are in there. And sometimes I just cannot find the perfect words because everything is in there. And I noticed that, yeah, since the 2021, many of events, just like you said earlier, and I noticed that you also really active in writing a post on the web. How do you get a topic for the event, or how do you stay active in writings? What is the inspiration? How do you do that? Because I'm trying to be active, but I'm not that good in writing an article. So I'm really amazed at what you post in the web. I really, yes, that's why every time you post, I always cheered your writings because it was written amazingly, beautifully. How do you get idea? How do you get inspiration to stay committed to post an event or post write an article? Where that come from?
I mean, it's a good question. It's been different for me through different periods of my life. So I've been writing for a very long time, and I've tried both writing longer, kind of more deep articles, as well as just blogging every week about just something small. And I don't think there's one recipe. Uh, Maybe if I have to single out one thing, is it's not about pushing yourself to write. It's about more tuning into yourself and finding something that touches you, something that inspires you. It's kind of, it's not about trying too hard, but it's more about listening. I don't know. It's more about connecting to your intuition rather than pushing yourself because you have to write today and because it's important. So it's some intuitive feeling of um, something that touches you deeply. I guess that's the thing. As far as the community, it's sometimes a little more difficult because I write regularly. So every week I post something, sometimes twice per week. And um, to me, as far as the community is concerned, it comes from my passion for the community. So I just want to see it go in certain direction, and I get inspired by what has happened throughout the week and what I see. There's always something I want to tell members, which is so it's very organic, very real, coming from what's happening in the community or where I want to see the community going. Uh, and it's not always easy. So the key for me is not to push myself. The right idea just sometimes comes, and sometimes it's in the last minute.
Mm.
But I start writing about something completely different. The last minute before because I have a deadline, I need to, I publish it on certain day usually. Um,
How about any topic for the event? Is there any particular reason that, yeah, I know there's a group to brainstorm, but any particular reason that, hey, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. Any reason for that?
okay, so in the beginning, I had some topics which I was bringing every month. So they were related also to, in the beginning, we had, and this is maybe, it was more January, February, March. So I don't know how much you've seen actually, but in the beginning, I was bringing a new book every month. And I had a couple of topics which were coming from every book. And those were topics that I felt for the last 5-10 years. I felt that how should I say it's deeper findings that have impacted me, and I felt I want to tell others about. So So that's how it started. Well, now I don't do that. So I don't have a new book every month. We don't have a new topic every month. It's more organic. So we created different spaces. So we have a space where we talk about life integration. We have a space where we talk about current events. We have a space where we talk about generational differences and about zillennial, we call it zillennial, but it's generation Z and millennials. We have a space where we ideate. We have a space where we do systemic constellations, which is about connecting to our intuition. So we've created, so these are core pillars, let's say, that I felt. And did I miss anything? I think these are the core things. Um, so these are some pillars we have. And then within that, the magic is every time it's different. It depends on who shows up. So depending on who shows up, the conversation goes into completely different um, direction, and that's what's magic. That's what I love. So we are more creating the safe space to and the topic, the how should I say, the container.
Mhm.
But then what exactly we talk about, it really depends on who shows up.
Yeah. Just like what I experienced on our last meetups, yeah. Yeah, the topic is there, and somehow I just get the big takeaways from that. It's only four of us, right, at that moment, but
Yes,
it really gives the aha moment at that time. Yeah, yeah, that's
I,
magic.
I, I actually believe I didn't always understand it, but there is a saying. I think it came first from this community, which is called, it's not community, but system of methodology for meetings, which is known as art of hosting. And they came up with this sentence that whoever shows up is the right person to show up. So there is something magical. Uh, you just set up the space, and then what happens in the space, you need to be open
Mhm.
to support whatever needs to happen. So if you go into the space and you say, no, we decided we're going to talk about this. Why are you talking about something else? Then you're going to ruin it. So you just need to let it go. And it magically comes together, and in a magic way, everybody picks up some aha moment.
Yeah, magical.
It's very special and magical. Yeah,
Magical.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the key really is not to be stuck on what you have planned for. So you just create the space, but you don't pre-decide what's gonna happen.
yeah. See, I found another word for the community. Magical.
Yes,
Another word for
we
the
use
community.
it a lot, and there has been a lot of magic really happening, and this is because uh, when we are connecting when we are connected to our whole being and our spirituality, then we are, yeah, magic
We're
happens.
making
Actually, we,
magic,
we
huh?
find each other.
Uh,
Yeah, we find each other, and we find people who uh, to whom we're connected. I mean, we can find in this way people we are more connected than in our usual surroundings, because there's something very special in our heart, and we can find somebody like totally from the other part of the world who is really connected to that same thing. I mean, it is magic.
wow, it's already 1 hour. I did not notice the time has passed. I just want to ask, if okay, I just want to ask two questions again. For
Hmm.
this community that already past 1 year, what are your hopes for the community, and what do you want to say for all the women in the community, or yeah, any woman all around the world, if somehow they see the community, they found the community, or they read about you, or they see you finally, what are you going to say to all the women?
I would say if they feel connected to, so they should read a little bit about like our website and vision, mission, things like that. And if it touches them, if it touches their heart, I would say invest some time in a few meetings, uh, um, just give it some time to experience it, and then decide for yourself. So in other words, many women say, "Oh, I don't have time." I mean, this is like we all lack time, right? I mean, everybody is juggling so many things, and we all don't have time. Uh, but sometimes the things we do, I mean, my question would be, is everything you do during the day bringing you to the life you dream of? And if I would say, if I mean, obviously we all have to do sometimes things that we don't necessarily like. I mean, not everything is happy-go-lucky, but if the final, if we, when we draw the line, if we feel we're moving towards the life we dream of, and if we feel happy, then fine, maybe we don't need to change anything. But if we're not feeling that we're moving towards the life of our dreams, if we feel that our current surroundings are too narrow for us, somehow we have this feeling of like, there must be something more. There's more I could do in this world. If we have this feeling of unsatisfaction, I would say carve some time, like find some time to participate, but not just read posts, like engage in a few things, like give it a test, engage in a few meetings. And only then you can decide, is this worth your time or not? That's what I would advise for.
Mhm. And
Uh,
your hope for the community, and generally.
my hope for the community is that by the, let's say for this year, that we uh, create a scalable and sustainable organizational structure. I mean, we're already working on it, but like really unfold it, so to say, that would allow all this growth and scaling to go. So I'm hoping this foundation will be really strong that we're building, and I'm hoping that our first projects will give some fruits by the end of the year. So we will do some projects together, which will uh, give us wings to continue. Like we would experience the power of doing things together and the impact we can create in the world, and that would give us further wings and will attract even more women. I
Mhm.
think it will be with this specific acts of impact, both on us individually as well as on the world outside, that would attract other women. They will see it's possible.
Yeah, yeah, cheers to that. And I really give you a warm wishes, best wishes for you and the community. So last question, how to join the member, how to be the member of the Woman Heart to Heart? Is there any simple process or simple way to join the uh,
Yes.
community?
So women can go either. So the site of the community is women.heart dash to dash heart. So it's women.heart to heart with the dashes dot online, or maybe easier is our website www.womenH2H.com. So this is on both places. There is a button join, and You can join for free the general public area of the community, and there's a lot happening there. You could participate in, you could join one of the meetings which are meet the founders, so where I'm hosting them, or you can meet the other partners of Women Heart to Heart. So that's the first entry, like looking what people are posting, connecting on some of the meetings to meet some people. And then if you want to really get involved, we also have the inner circle, membership circle called the Explorer. So once you're inside, you can go to membership circles. And the Explorer in general is a paid circle, but you can click try free and you can experience it for a couple of months for free. So you can decide then for yourself, is it worth it or not?
Okay, and it's free for all women all around the world. Yeah.
Yes, the general
Yeah.
area where a lot of things are happening is free for everybody, and it's gonna be free for life. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you again, Natalia, for your time. Okay, I want to stop the recording. Thank you
Thank
again
you so
for
much, Dao,
the
for